As a 1099 contractor, the money machine is you. Your business plan is the anatomy of your money machine, and today we're going to get into the details. My name is JP Garcia. I've been an independent contractor and I've been doing contracting work for a number of years now. I've completely replaced my W-2 income with 1099 income, and actually I'm making more money now than I did as a W-2. So today we're going to get into your business plan and how that is important and how it shapes your business. All right, so high level, there are 9 pieces of the business plan that I'm going to cover with you today. Depending on where you get your business plan template, or wherever you're coming up with this, it could be more, it could be less, but these are just the 9 points that I thought of. Starts with your executive summary. Second is your company direction. Third is your market analysis. 4 is your organization. 5, your products and services. 6, your marketing and sales strategy. 7, your funding. 8, your financial projections. And 9 is really your marketing material. So let's start at the top with your mission. The mission of your money-making machine, the mission in your business plan is really like the brain of your money-making machine, right? This is what you're trying to do at a high level with this business. And really, when you're trying to make strategic decisions about your business and directions where to go, a lot of times you want to look back at this mission and make sure that the decisions that you're making are enabling the mission that you chose, right? I can give you examples from my business. So Flipform Consulting is my consulting business, and my mission in that business is to help businesses change the way they do things, right? I do business transformations, and really, I'm looking to help a business make significant changes to optimize, to make more profit, and to really keep their business on the right trajectory, right? And then, of course, on this channel is the Flipform Academy. And the mission of this channel specifically is to help individuals realize that they have what it takes to reach their goals, specifically in entrepreneurship and the contracting world, right? So what do you notice about the mission? It's really a high level thought or a strategy around what we're trying to do with the company. It doesn't get into the details of we're going to get X and Y and Z products, or it doesn't get into the blocking and tackling of your business. It is really just a high level thought, and it's really what you're trying to do in the marketplace, in the world with your business. The second part of your business plan is your market analysis. And really, I like to think of the market analysis as the eyes of your machine. What do you see as the opportunity? What is out there? And it's really, when you look at your marketing analysis, it's in-depth research into your industry, the market size, expected growth, trends, things of that nature. It's also your target audience, the customer demographics, their behaviors, their likes, dislikes, all of that stuff. And really, lastly, it's competitive analysis. Who else is playing in this market? What do they do? How are they delivering products and services to that market? Who are the top dogs? Who are kind of the bottom players? And where do you fit in within that? You kind of look at their strengths and weaknesses. You look at your strengths and weaknesses, and you just take an overall picture of the market, and you do that with the eyes of your business, the marketing analysis. And look, I'm going high level today just to give you a brief overview of why, these things exist in business plans and what they're doing for you. We'll dig into the details of all of these in later videos. It probably makes sense to do a video per topic, but really at this point, it's just explaining why this is important. And then later I want to get into why you want to spend time on this, but then also why you don't want to get hung up on this. Right, so your company description, this is the heart of your business. It's detailed information about your specific business, including the industry, your target market, and your unique value proposition. So this is a little bit deeper than your mission, right? So we've looked at your overall mission and we've looked at the market. And so now really it's like, okay, how do you attack that market? What is your specific value to that market? What is your product to that market? Whether it's goods, services, a combination of both, or whatever. What are you doing with your strengths and weaknesses, and based on the strengths and weaknesses of your competition to really attack that market and gain some market share? The business organization and structure really, and your management structure make up the skeleton of your money machine. Okay. So this is, are you an LLC? Are you an S Corp? Are you a C Corp? That type of thing. Are you in a general partnership? How does that look like? And also understanding the players within the business and really directly around your business. So do you have strategic alliances? Who are you relying on for X, Y, and Z goods or services? Do you have outside influence with regard to leadership? You know, when you're deep in the weeds, sometimes you forget, you know, what resources are around you and what you have. So just having a quick place to look at that for me has been handy, right? But also as you're planning out your business, as you're thinking about this, jumping into it, know that even though that you are the money-making machine and you're the soul, or you're the first employee, you're the founder or whatever, you're still not alone, right? Or you don't have to be alone. So this is really kind of taking a step back and thinking about the people that influence your business, but then also, and we'll get into this. This is a very deep topic. There's a lot of information out there, and I'm not a lawyer, so I can't, I can't speak from that perspective. But your business structure, very important to your business, how you structure that and what you do. Actually, I think what I'll do is I'll try to have a lawyer on the show to just give some best practices based on their experience. So I'll try to do that for everybody. Products and services. What part of the money machine is that? That's clear, right? Those are your hands and feet. Products and services, that is the thing you do. That's the thing you sell. That's how you outreach. I'm tripping over my words a little bit here because this is the exciting part. It's like, this is what you're going to go to market with. This is what you're going to do. This is your product. This is your service. And it's not just servicing everybody. You are looking for specific customers, a target market to do this for, right? So you're not just shaking hands with everybody, you're shaking hands with the people that you're targeting. Products and services, you have to think about that very clearly. What business problem are you fixing? What niche are you serving? What services do they need? Why do these people need that, right? Why do these customers need what you're supplying, right? And what goes hand in hand with that is how much are they willing to pay for that? So this idea of pricing kind of goes between, several different things, but it's the thing that you're selling, the service, the good, all of that stuff, whatever you're selling to your client, very specific to that target audience, right? You may have different offerings for different clients at different price points, right? You may have different offerings to the same client at different price points, right? So you really need to think about that. What am I offering? And I think a lot of this probably is already, this is probably the first thing you think about when you're putting together your business plan. Well, what am I going to sell? What am I going to do? How am I going to make money, right? Well, the challenge I'll give to you with your product is that as you come up with offerings, so your services, your goods, whatever it is you're doing, try to figure out and identify where your service or your good or whatever, how that competes against other goods and services, and where do you fit into that scale? Are you a premium product? Are you a value product? Are you kind of a Me Too product, right? Kind of a copycat product, which is okay, right? But all of that boils back to what is your skill set? What do you do really well? And so, for example, if you were a business coach, right? You were selling business coaching services to somebody, and you are a fantastic marketing person, right? And I am also a business coach, let's say, but I am a fantastic finance person, you know? So we have we're going after a similar market, but we have different strengths that we are promoting to the market, you know? Because a lot of times what you'll find is that there's a lot of competition in the market, and it is hard for the consumer to figure out which service to buy, which product to buy. And the more you can define your product, then the better off you'll be. And it'll be very clear to the customer, to the client, to the consumer, what your value proposition is, what your offer is, and why they should go with your service, right? Because you can't be all things to all people. And if you try to promote your products and your services as goods that service everybody, then my hypothesis for you is you're not going to get anybody, because nobody's going to know which niche you fit best. Going back to my previous example, if you're marketing and I'm finance, then people know. It's like, okay, hey, I'm going to hire you for marketing because you're the marketing person and I need marketing help right now. You know, you don't want people, if you're doing marketing services, you don't want people asking about finance or supply chain or all of that stuff. You don't want them asking you about that. You want somebody asking somebody else about that, right? Does that make sense? So be very deliberate. And I know this is the very easy thing to do in your business plan to figure this out. But my challenge to you is to get really specific at, you know, what your offer is, what are the valuable parts of your product, services, and compare that to the other offerings in the market and how you sit, right? Because the more specific you can be about your value play, the more I think you'll be able to communicate to your clients and your customers what value you bring to them, and ultimately they will figure out when and where they need you. Next, marketing and sales strategy. Where does that fit into the body of your money machine? Well, those are the mouth and the ears of your money machine, right? So voice of customer. How do you hear the voice of customer? Through your ears, right? How do you react to the voice of customer? That's your mouth, you know? So this is really about what you're hearing from your clientele, how you're reacting, and how do you message that to your target audience, right? You need to think about the specific way you're targeting each type of persona within your, within your client base, so that they get targeted information that's relevant to them, and they'll be able to consume it and hopefully ultimately make the decision to purchase your services or goods. Funding is the food for your money machine. And it kind of makes sense, right? So money is what allows you to continue doing what you're doing, to provide better goods and services. It's the energy of your business in a sense, right? So your body converts food to energy. Your business converts money into product. There are really two ways that you can fund this. You can either self-fund, which, going back to our body analogy, means you're going out to buy your own ingredients to cook for yourself, that kind of thing, right? And versus outside funding, which is you are going to eat out, right? So there are pros and cons to both of those. So self-funding, it may be a slower ramp, but you don't have any debt. You ask yourself, how much time does it take? How much time does it take for me to cook a meal for myself, right? I've got to go out and find the right ingredients. I've got to put it all together. That is very similar to self-funding versus outside funding. Going out to eat is very convenient. It can get you your food very quickly on a certain schedule, but it does cost money, right? And you don't necessarily have the same control of the inputs that you do when you make food for yourself. The point is that outlining the way you're going to fund your business is something to think about very carefully when you're writing your business plan. Okay, so your financial projections, right? So going back to the body analogy, this is a little bit different. It's not necessarily your body. If you think about it like a performance a performance expectation. So now you have a certain goal, mission, etc. You've been feeding your body X, Y, and Z things. You've been exercising. You've been taking care of yourself, getting all the sleep, all of that stuff. What are your expectations? If you're putting together a business that is supposed to do a deadlift, right, then you don't need to be doing cardio as much as you need to be doing heavy lifts. So now, okay, you've been building this machine to do a deadlift. At some point, you have to say, okay, well, how much do I think it can deadlift, right? Because, that's how you evaluate, right? The point is that the financial projections are your estimation for how well you're going to do in the market. You have to be honest with yourself. Are you going to be a market leader day one? Maybe, but maybe not. Chances are you're not going to be the market leader day one, right? And so, your revenue projections, your cost projections, all of those things have to take into account that it's probably going to be an incremental ramp up to whatever financial goal you have, right? There's another term, financial goal. What's your financial goal? Where are you trying to get to in the first 90 days, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, all of that stuff, right? Setting the goals will allow you to gauge your progress as your business matures. And all of this goes into your financial projections. And so you really have to be honest with yourself about, number one, have I been doing the work, right? Where do I feel my expertise or my services or my quality of product fits within the market? How am I going to price it, right? And so then really it's how many customers do I think I'm going to get in the first, 30, 60, 90 days, and will I be able to sustain that? Do I need to eventually bring on people, right? So I'm already going into a rabbit hole that I don't want to go into in this general video, but I think you get the point, is that financial projections really give you an idea for where you want to take the business, because at some point there will be dips or lulls or whatever in your financial projections. And then, you need to be able to evaluate those dips, lulls, or even spikes, which are good, right? You have to be able to evaluate those based on and comparing to your plan and your projections, so that you can make an accurate assessment of, hey, in the short term, it feels like I'm not really doing very well. But if you look at your projections in the long term, it's like, hey, I'm actually still on track. This is a blip. Blips happen one way or the other, good and bad, right? It all happens. But, having that financial projection will really, really help you keep an eye on where you plan to go. The marketing material of your money machine is your selfie. Yes, it's your selfie, right? You think about that, right? Your resume, your website, your swag, all of that stuff. That is a certain picture of your business, of you in different lights and different environments, right? And you need to be really careful and thoughtful about how you want that marketing material to present and all of that stuff. Having it cogent, a similar style, all of that stuff, gets into branding, which is important to think about. You want to put some thought into it with regard to your business plan, so that when you start to make decisions about, do I need to buy Yeti cups, or do I need to buy more business cards, or whatever, it can go back to your brand strategy, your marketing material. What does that selfie say about you and your business, right? So I've gone over at a high level all of the points of the business plan here. Like I said, we'll get into specific details in later videos. If you have suggestions on which ones you want to see first, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to create those in any order. Otherwise, I'll probably just start at the top and go on down. The one piece of advice I will give you is kind of like the double-edged sword of the business plan. It is very, very easy to ignore the business plan or get stuck in the details of the business plan, right? And walking that fine line of how much business plan do you need before getting started, it's a tightrope, right? Because my recommendation is that you have a business plan before you get into it, so you know exactly what you're getting into and you know where you want to go, right? So that when you get deep into the weeds of doing this, then you can start to look back to that business plan, your mission, your strategy, all of that stuff, and make sure that the decisions that you're making align with your original business plan, right? And sometimes you're going to need to edit that business plan based on new direction, new opportunities, and that's okay. That's normal. That happens, right? But sometimes not all opportunities are good opportunities for you, right? So if you're a paint contractor, for example, right? And so you do painting and that kind of stuff for all of your clients. And then one day you have a huge client that comes and says, hey, you're here all the time. Why don't you start doing handyman stuff? Why don't you start fixing the toilets? Or why don't you start unclogging the sinks? Or after you paint, you're already in there. Why don't you shampoo the carpets? While that seems great short term because that's money, long term, did you start the business because you wanted to shampoo carpets and clean toilets and stuff like that? No, you started it because you wanted to paint, right? So having that clarity of your business plan will help you decide, hey, I know this is money now, and it may be good, but really, if I'm trying to build a painting business, spending cycles doing something that is not in service of that business is really counterproductive, right? And I'm here to tell you, as somebody who's taken jobs that didn't align with my core competency or mission, they can be lucrative, but they can also sideline you from doing the thing that you really want to be doing. The other edge of that sword, since I said it was a double-edged sword, is the analysis paralysis, right? We've all heard that term, analysis paralysis, is that you get so stuck in the details of this business plan that you don't do anything, right? You get stuck in maybe looking at competitors and saying, okay, well, where do I fit in this competitors? I'm really trying to segment myself to find this super niche that nobody's attacking. And I still can't find that. But when I find it, then I'm going to enter the market. And I've been there too. And you have to be really wary of losing out on opportunities because you are stuck in this paralysis, right? Because opportunities will come. And essentially, you have to be able to evaluate whether is this a good opportunity or a bad opportunity, like we just talked about, right? And if you get so bent around the axle that I haven't finished my business plan, I really don't know if this is a good opportunity, you have to look at yourself and say, okay, well, at some point, is this going to at least help me propel me to a certain stage? Like, is this going to get me started? That's what I'm getting at, right? Because I feel like once you're in it, once you're taking contracts and you're doing work and whatever it is you do, right? You are going to know, you're going to have a little bit of a feel for, yes, this is a good thing. This is a bad thing to do. Some things are on the edge. Like I talked about that painter that's doing, handiwork or got asked to do handiwork or whatever. But a lot of times the people who get caught at the business plan stage, they never do anything, right? And you get stuck and you really, really want to do the thing, but you don't have the plan. What I'll tell you is the plan can be messy and it can be incomplete, but you've at least thought about it. And sometimes it takes getting that first contract, second contract to really kind of hone in on what you want to do, right? You'll start to understand what your market really is. Then you can write it down. Like, okay, well, I thought it was this and it's actually this. Or I thought it was, I thought the market was smaller and it's actually larger, right? Or larger and smaller. You don't know. Sometimes you just have to, if the opportunity knocks and your business plan's 2/3 of the way, you can go for it, right? See what happens, right? Because I guess what I'm trying to say is don't let an incomplete business plan cripple you from taking your opportunity and launching your business. So thank you all for watching this video. I appreciate it. And if you have any questions, please hit me up in the comments. It's the best way I think we can interact right now. And, once I get all of my, other stuff set up, the websites and all of that stuff, Facebook groups and all of those things. I'll let you know as the videos come out when those things are available. But for right now, I think the easiest thing to do is just comment on the video, in the video comments. If you have any questions, if there's anything I can help you with, let me know. I'm happy to do so. These videos are supposed to be a resource for you to guide you in the process for getting started and launching your 1099 career. And we will see you in the next video.